Hey, what's going on, boys? This will probably be a video that a lot of people will probably be angry at me for making. So let me preface this with me just saying everything I'm about to say is my own experience, my own thoughts, my own opinions. My ideas, my words represent nobody besides myself and myself only. But the past 48 hours haven't sat right with me. And I can't shake this feeling. And I'm a guy where I really like just getting it out there. And if it bites me in the ass, and well, it usually does, I'm going to do it anyways. Today I want to talk about a guy called Rich Campbell. And some of you guys may remember Rich. Some of you guys may not remember Rich, and that's okay. Rich was someone who I was very close with about 3 years ago. I believe it was December 2022 was the last time we ever talked. Rich was a guy who played World of Warcraft, even played gacha games, and he was always a great guy to me. He was. And I, too, tried to be the best to him that I could. There was even a point where Rich's content creation wasn't doing so well. And so he wanted to quit his job and become my editor. And I said, no, you're fine, keep at it. But what happened, in case you don't know, was, and this is what I was told, and I'm gonna be saying this a lot, I can only tell you what I was told. When it came to the whole Rich ordeal, I never got anything from his mouth. I never got anything from his word. I was only getting things from other people. Now, is that because I didn't reach out to him? No. I have gone on record saying multiple times, when everything happened with Rich, I reached out to him incessantly. I think I called him 8 times that day, and I got no response. And every single step of the way of what's been going on with Rich, whether this bites me in the ass or not, and by the way, I want to let you know, I have now gotten not 1, not 2, but 7 different hate threads because I'm willing to talk about this person. And I want to make it very clear, if people aren't talking about Rich, I understand a certain group who are legally involved and quite literally can't. But I think there's a lot of content creators generally outside of, like the OTK can't talk about that, I'm sure. But people outside of that definitely could. And it worries me because what happened to Rich pretty much ruined his life forever. And what I was told is that Rich was accused of rape with 13 different women vouching for this story. And that was a little bit hard for me to believe. I went live maybe 24 hours after it happened. And I remember this was a frequent thing when I was, a part of the old org, where I would always be the first person to go live and talk about any big controversy that would happen because, well, and I'm just being honest, most of the people were scared to do so. And well, I went live before Asmon every day because I stream in the mornings and he streams later at night. And I remember how angry I was. I remember how emotionally conflicted I was. And I look back on the footage of me talking about Rich and I'm obviously in tears. I'm having a hard time getting it out because I just couldn't even believe what I was saying with the story that I was told. And I want to make it very clear. The story that I was told was not told to me by any content creator whatsoever. So before anybody goes on a witch hunt, they're not even on mine. So hope that helps. But I kept on reaching out to Rich and I could never get anything. But the moment I got something, which was, once again, going to keep all names confidential, I heard from someone who's pretty legitimate that Rich this was about maybe 5 months ago, 6 months ago. I talked about this and I got another hate thread, which is fine. I get those all the time. I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me anymore. It used to, but now I'm 31 and I just don't give a fuck. And I realize that there's people on the internet who have this false version of reality of who I am, and that's okay. But I heard that Rich was actually doing quite well, and a lot of his cases were going very good. And then 48 hours ago, I see the person who accused Rich drop the case and then say, I wish Rich the best in all of his future endeavors. Who the fuck says that to someone who 3 years ago you were calling a rapist? This just reeks of something malicious. This reeks of pure... I honestly can't even think of a word to describe how disgusted I am with the actions of women who abuse the internet's culture in order to push forth false allegations on men because they know they can get away with it and nothing will happen to them. Nothing. Nothing will happen. And, obviously I've seen a lot more of these scenarios happen. I've experienced some of these very same scenarios. And I remember I was told, and this is what was so strange to me, that I was also told that Rich wanted everyone to publicly distance himself from him. I remember this. I went to check myself multiple times, no calls, no texts, no messages, and it's been the same for 3 years. Have not heard a single word from the guy. And to be honest, I'm so fucked up right now because at the end of the day, I just want justice for whichever party was wronged. Man. Issues like these are so sensitive due to the fact that you don't want to be able to silence out legitimate victims, and you don't want to silence people who are on the wrong end of false allegations. But I think if there's one thing that we can all agree, is that men and women who make false allegations on people should be put in jail. They should. If there is undeniable proof that these allegations were made with malice, they should be put in jail for a near equivalent amount of time that the crime they accused that person of would have gotten them. I hate these people. I hate these people so much. I hate the people who take advantage of the culture. I hate the people who take advantage of the loopholes and who wrongfully ruin people's lives. Now, once again, I would like to say, this is another one of those videos that could age horribly. That's okay. If someone wants to bring it up 3 years later, 2 years later, that's fine. But I just kind of want to tell you where my head's at. The reason why it's so bad is that when you're put into one of these positions, one, you want to hear out everyone who's letting out a cry for help. Two, you want to have the back of the person where maybe the accusations aren't legitimate about. Three, this damages all victims, in essence, everyone, Because if the people are lying, that's going to cause more credible doubt for everyone else with a cry for help in the future. But I think we can say, and I think this is what's so horrible, I know more people who've been falsely accused than have actually been accused. And at least in my field. And I think that's absolutely fucking disgusting. This is something that I've really been trying to get a grasp on what's actually happening for a very long time. And I hope if you watch this video, you aren't going to ask anybody for this, anybody for that. Just leave how you're feeling in the comments below, because I just kind of want to know how my community feels about this. Maybe you respect my wishes, maybe you don't. But I just want justice to occur. It's been 3 years, guys. 3 years. It's a long time. It's a long time. And man, trust me, waiting for answers is fucking miserable. I would like to say, I think the way that Rich is handling this is probably the right way to do it. Bro ghosted everything and everybody, and I believe he's taking care of business in the courts. But I think it's just so scary to think how much power people who lie have and how much we enforce those who do lie. And I also want to talk about another thing is, and I just want to, make you guys understand this. Men who get falsely accused, people who get falsely accused, it changes them. It really does. And I'll make a video on this later in full depth. I doubt there's that many of you guys still here, but I'm going to share a personal story with this. And this is probably the moment where I gave up on everybody. I too was falsely accused. Do you guys remember that? And I remember there were some people who reached out to me immediately and showed me support. And to those people, I am infinitely grateful for them for the rest of my life. However, I remembered I reached out to someone who I cared about very much. And I remember I put out a statement that, it's pretty hard to put out a good statement that pleases everybody. And I remember I reached out to someone and they said, John, did you even think for 5 seconds how this affects me? Berating me. I mean, they were mental because there was a couple of hate comments in their chat. Meanwhile, I'm going through one of the most traumatic experiences that any man, any person can go through. And at that point I realized, man, this streaming world ain't what I thought it was. And man, we've changed a lot ever since that day. There's more that I'm going to go through, and I plan on telling the whole story once all this is over and done and behind me. But my God, is this space a pathetic, narcissist-filled of untalented slobs and sluts that got far too much of an ego far too quick. And to be honest, don't really have too much life experience on anything. They've never struggled for anything. And I'm just not really interested in that. Not really interested in people like that at all. At the end of the day, TLDR is, I'm still just as much confused as everybody else. Sure hope we get to hear what's actually going on eventually. But, man, I really wish all of this never happened. It's very scary, but, and I would like to say, if Rich is innocent on everything, I will do everything it is in my power to try to make it to where his life isn't as fucked up anymore. What a horrible, horrible, horrible place this world has become. Just want justice, guys. Other TLDR, false accusers are pieces of shit. Let's see what happens. I don't know.